Everybody, Scott Sachs with the Synergy Group. We are here doing the statistics. It is April. Hope everybody got their taxes done. Again, these are March year-over-year figures, so they trail roughly 30 days. But we're going to get you into it. We're going to go over the numbers, and we're going to talk about what's going on in the market right now today. And we're going to give you a sense of what you can expect as a buyer or seller in the market in the DMV. So let's get into it. Montgomery County, Arlington, and Washington, D.C. We have the average price, days on market, and the sales price to list price ratio. So in Montgomery County, year over year, we're seeing a 4.15% increase in the average sales price. Arlington, an 11% increase in the average sales price. And in D.C., we're seeing a 6.5% decrease in sales price. Days on market, up across the board. And I want to, again, I always reference this, but sample size is important in understanding the number. We are still very healthy relative to the national average on days on market. 31 in Montgomery County, 25 in Arlington, which is very low, and 56 days in DC. This is percentage, we're up 20% in MoCo. That's only 5 days. We're up 5 days year over year as far as days on market. We're up a day and a half in Arlington. And in DC, we're up 3%. But DC is the story here, and I'll get to that in a minute. Sales to list price ratio, Montgomery County, we're down a little bit. Now, if you remember, a few months ago, we were running about a 96, 97% list to sales price ratio. So if you factor this into that, we're now running probably like a 95, 96% sales price ratio in these districts. Arlington, we've seen an increase. So it's going from a 97-ish list to sales price ratio back closer to a 98% list to sales price ratio on average. Some properties are getting multiple offers and going well over ask right now. And so let's get into that a little bit. The 10-year treasury sitting at 4.23. Just to give you guys a frame of reference, it has fluctuated anywhere from 3.95 all the way up to almost 4.5% over the last 3 weeks with everything going on with the Iranian war. That is not over, and we are going to see more volatility hit the market, the equities market, the treasury market, and that will have implications on all of these numbers as we move forward, which is why it's really important to be working with someone who has their thumb on the pulse of the market and understands the nuance of how to buy into a volatile market. We are going to see it, I'm telling you. Second half of the year, maybe even late spring, we are going to see that volatility, and knowing how to move forward and knowing how to price is going to be really crucial to success. So, what are we seeing across the board? Northern Virginia is still very, very popular, very hot. We're seeing multiple offers. We're seeing people jumping offer deadlines well above list price, totally clean offers. We're seeing that a little bit in upper Northwest DC, a little bit, but most of DC is stagnant. If you're in the condo market, you're even in the row house market in some of these what were burgeoning communities over the last 10 years, we are seeing a reversion to the mean across some of this product. And so you want to know when you're stepping into these markets, what's my expectation as a buyer and also as a seller? Am I being realistic about my pricing and what I expect my days on market to look like? Because that's really important. Putting together a runway and a proper strategy to know how I'm going to move a property in DC right now and having that, setting those expectations with our sellers is super important. Maybe it's not time to sell. Maybe you rent it. We do property management as well. That's always something we can talk to you about. In Arlington, things are moving fast, and it's not just Arlington. Northern Virginia, I had showings this morning in Vienna and Reston, and we had a carousel of people coming in the door behind us. This was 1.3 to 1.5 million for single family homes. And they're likely going to get multiple offers on all 4 of the properties that I showed in the weekend. So again, nuanced market where you can go around the corner, you can see something for 1.250 that's been sitting now for 21 days. Why is that sitting for 21 days and this one for 1.4 is going to move in 3 days, right? It's condition, it's product, it's how the agents are presenting it. Some are doing a very good job. Some of them maybe shouldn't be in real estate anymore. And that's the bifurcation we're seeing. So working with really good agents matters. And we're seeing that in the numbers as well and what people are able to get. Montgomery County, very similar. Bethesda, Chevy Chase, even parts of Rockville, those markets are still moving well. We just had the redistricting with the schools. That's something to keep a close eye on with the closing of Wooten moving to Crown. There are some moving parts here too as far as valuations and what people are going to be looking for and how that impacts people's moves over the next 1 or 2 years. So we're keeping an eye on that. But this is what you're seeing across the market. Interest rates are still high. 30-year is still, you're seeing at 6 1/8 to 6 1/2, depending on the lender. I recommend ARM products right now. We can go into that in a different video, but this is the landscape. So you go, well, why are we seeing such high demand in some of these markets? It's driven by where job growth is currently. Northern Virginia has a lot of it. You've got all the tech sector, the biotech, and all these people who moved in. Tax implications. I've had 3 conversations with people who live in Montgomery County who say, I wish I would have bought in Northern Virginia because I just got my new tax bill. Schools, costs, all these things are factoring in. So keep that in mind. Here are the numbers. If you have questions, visit us at synergysoldit.com.